live bands and what I would imagine amounts to a real hubbub. So Cedar Point passes next week. I'll have
hullabaloo?
A hullabaloo, sure.
Hubbabaloo.
Hubbabaloo.
Yeah.
Tickets for Apocalyptica, if you like your rock and roll played on cellos. They're still around and doing the House of Blues in September. And then I'll have tickets for you to see Five Finger Death Punch, If a Tap Out Shirt Was a Band, along with Megadeth, The Who, and Fire from the Gods. That is an October show out at Blossom. So that's all next week. Not the WHO, the HU. I think they're like Tibetan rockers or something, doing those throat growls. If you know The Who, you know. I'll have Monster Jam tickets for you later on today if you want to get to that over 4th of July weekend at First Energy Stadium, too. Guardians are off tonight. They completed that sweep of the Royals. 4-0 was the final yesterday afternoon. Tomorrow night, they're in Baltimore, play the Orioles at 7:05 here on MMS and on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, Chris.
Hey.
What's up?
Alan?
Yes, sir.
Hey, hate the show.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I remember Poundcake said something about putting an in-ground pool in your house raises the value of it. That's actually not true. It actually devalues your house. I learned that one of the most critical things you could do to lower the value of your house is put a pool in, because nobody wants to have that maintenance on it year-round.
So it's not so much that it sounds like a semantic thing to me, because other people have told me differently. It sounds less like it devalues your house and more that it makes it less likely that somebody will want to buy it because of the upkeep.
That would make more sense.
Yeah, like if somebody's got the money, they'll go, great. There's a house in my neighborhood that has a huge indoor in-ground pool.
Damn.
So the house, it's a couple streets away from me, and the house, there's nothing ostentatious about it. It looks like kind of a normal 2-story house. But if you see it at an angle, there's a huge extension coming off the back of the house into this big backyard that is an indoor in-ground pool. I don't know if they had a kid that was like an Olympian that was training, or I don't know what. Or maybe they just want to swim indoors year-round. But it's very strange.
That would be sweet.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. There's Chris in Strongsville. Hey, Marion Barber died. I don't know if a lot of people remember Marion Barber. Most people remember him from the Cowboys. We had him on the Bears for a year. I think his last season might have been with the Chicago Bears. That's what I remember him from. As a running back who they found dead in his apartment.
Only 38, right?
Young guy, 38. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the cops went over to do a welfare check because one of the neighbors had said that there was a water leak coming from the apartment or something. And I think they found him dead in bed. He would have been 39 in about a week.
Well, he left the water running or something?
Something like that. Yeah, I think one of the neighbors said,
it wasn't
hey,
one of those cases where it was like bodily fluids leaking through the floors.
No, I don't think
there's been that situation before, and that's ooh.
But Marion Barber was a guy who had a lot of issues along the way. So some people are maybe saying it was CTE, or usually when these guys have CTE, they'll commit suicide, or they can only determine, as I understand, they can only determine if CTE exists when they can examine the brain.
Yeah, after they're done.
Right,
yeah.
Which is why, was it Junior Seau?
Yes.
That shot himself in the chest so that they could
look at his brain, yeah.
Explore the brain.
And like Will Smith said, tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. So Marion Barber, though, had a lot of issues over the years. He ran into a church with a gun years ago, and he had a couple of DUIs. So even over the course, like his teammates liked him a lot, but he was a guy who, along the way, they were like, this guy's unfortunately got some things going on. So they found him in his apartment dead. And yeah, 38, young guy. But if you were a Cowboy, and again, I only know him because he was on the Bears, but if you were a Cowboys fan, I think he was with them for quite some time. I don't know if there are as many nationwide Cowboys fans as there used to be. I remember when I was a kid, the Cowboys, because of the cheerleaders and because of how high profile they were, Cowboys were like America's football team. Remember that?
And they were dubbed that.
Yeah, America's football team.
Because they're playing so many televised games, and they played the Steelers a bunch of times in the 70s in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And they got one of the announcers called them America's team. And it stuck. They ran.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I just remember the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. It was like that would make your career. It made you a high-profile person.
If you
If what? You made the squad?
If you became a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, because they were on, like when I was a kid,
your career as a cheerleader. Yeah.
They make like $50 a home game.
that's why it was a big deal if you were one of those cheerleaders, because they were doing appearances and they were on television variety shows and they were,
I guess. There's a whole reality show called Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders Making the Team, where they followed it for like years from tryouts through the season, and it was not a very glamorous job.
That may be now, but I'm talking about in the 70s when the Cowboys were like this national, like Roger Staubach, I think, was one of their big quarterbacks, and Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders
didn't mind exploiting women's sexuality.
Yeah.
Well, these girls were. Well, and it's to this day they still voluntarily become cheerleaders.
Like in college,
nobody's forcing them into it.
When we were in college, we put out calendar
I know you
and
did.
all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's not exploiting it. We knew what we were doing. We're like, hey, people are going to buy this.
How much did you get paid?
We didn't. We got like $300 a semester, like in tuition and books. So
But you didn't get any money off the calendar?
No, we sold them for, I think they were $10 a piece, and it went back to the association. So we used it to buy new uniforms or mats or put for like UCA camps and things like that. But
So
we didn't personally profit off of it. It went back to the organization.
As a cheerleader in college, they'd give you $300 a semester as just like a stipend.
Yeah, essentially.
Which covers nothing.
That you could put toward, it was like you could put it toward books or tuition, and those were the only two things you could use it for. You couldn't,
so that's like 2 books.
Yeah, and it wasn't like you couldn't get a full scholarship for cheerleading. You could only get a certain amount of money each
Are there
semester.
schools that give cheerleading scholarships? Really?
Yeah, it just depends on what division you're in and how good the program is.
Alan, my friend in high school had an indoor pool. No Olympians in that family. It was just a place for us to smoke reefer, swim, and do some hand stuff.
There you go.
Like the hand drive.
Yeah, preferably at the same time.
Now, what?
Hey, you want to go?
Put them jazz cigarettes out before you start touching people's bits.
Yeah.
I tell you,
Want to go take a dip and do some hand stuff?
what was common amongst like a lot of my poor friends, for whatever reason, I'm not sure why, but if they had a crappy house, somehow, some way, they had a hot tub, and they would always invite people over to get in. I'm like, bro, I see how.
I wonder why.
I don't know why.
Because they're only $2,000.
Maybe they
A
got
hot
one
tub?
at Northeast
low-
Factory Direct, and they were so inexpensive.
Yeah, you get a cheap hot tub, and then you just fill it once and never clean it, and it's
That's what I'm saying.
bubbles and foam.
And they would invite you over. I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, I see how you keep
Eating
your house.
sandwiches in it.
Like your dog been tied outside for I don't know how long. I'm
6
not.
months, yeah.
I'm not getting in your hot tub. Like, stop trying to get me in there.
It's when I think maybe last week or something we were talking about gross hot tubs where Bill got sick from one or
Yeah.
whatever, where it's got that foam on top. And somebody texted me, they were like, last time I saw a bunch of people in a hotel hot tub and I didn't get in, but what grossed me out was the little kid who stuck his face in and came up and said, "Look, I'm Santa Claus."
No.
I came up with a frothy beard and probably tuberculosis
So gross.
from that thing.
But I do love a nice, clean hot tub. I do love a nice hot tub. I stay in far too long, and it's not good for me.
How long is too long?
Till you start to feel lightheaded. That's not a good sign.
Told you,
Lightheaded.
it messes with your blood pressure. We talked about this last
Oh,
week.
yeah, that's right.
'Cause I'd
Okay.
be in there, like my
Especially if you're drinking.
They always have like a warning on them. It's like, don't stay in here longer than like 15 minutes or whatever.
and no one listens to that because you can't even get in the groove in 15 minutes. My gays,
Well, they can't listen. They're passed out.
my gays had a hot tub, and we would be vibing in there. Like we would have we had a not a cabana. I forget what they called it, but it was like a half cabana in the backyard, and they had music and lights and TVs back there. And if we occasionally wanted to hit the pen and sip a White Claw, we would do it in the hot tub. And I can't tell you how many times I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna get. I mean, passed out as soon as I get the first step in. I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna pass out.
This homie's trying to have a good time there in the hot tub, in the HT.
There's a such thing as being too relaxed.
Yeah, in the hot tub, yeah. You got it. What you need to do is transfer that relaxed hot tub vibe to the outside world. You know, like when Rod Livingston gets hypnotized in Office Space, right? And the guy dies. Spoiler. He's just walking through life, man. He's just chilled out.
I love when he's telling his friend, he's like, what would you do if you had $1 million? And he's like, I would do nothing. He's like, you don't need $1 million to do that. My cousin's broke. Don't do shrimp.
2 chicks at the same time, man.
Can't shake that double up on a guy like me.
You see Jada Pinkett-Smith talking about Will Smith and Chris Rock
Oh, God. What'd she say?
on her... Well, I don't like the way she put this. I'll play you the clip here.
Now, about Oscar night, My deepest hope is that these two intelligent, capable men have
Of course, she's reading something she's written. But just talk about it, extemporaneously.
She got lawyers. Like, no, she
lawyers.
She can't afford to just.
Her lawyers would tell her not to say anything. Nobody's getting sued.
But still, the Academy is very upset, so she needs to tread lightly.
Now, about Oscar night, my deepest hope is that these two intelligent, capable men have an opportunity to heal, talk this out, and reconcile. The state of the world today, we need them both. And we all actually need one another more than ever. Okay. Until then, Will and I are continuing to do what we have done for the last 28 years. And that's keep figuring out this thing called life together.
Oh, God, she's annoying.
Yeah, but there's
everything about that was so annoying.
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing to reconcile. Your husband hit Chris Rock. It's not like they each did something and now they got to put their heads together and figure out how to fix this. What reconcile what?
I thought you said they were getting a divorce.
Somebody said they were.
Okay.
And do we?
And it was on the internet, and so I believe it.
What do we need? We don't need them. We don't need anybody. We can do this all ourselves.
What are you talking about?
We need this actor and this comedian so much. Again, Chris Rock didn't do anything. He just got hit.
Yeah.
So what does he need to do?
Right.
And then, I think
they need to talk this out and reconcile.
No, Men in Black movie? Like, what do we need from Will Smith at this point?
Put them both in a Men in Black movie. Yes.
There you go.
Call it Black Men in Black.
No one ever.
And it's Chris Rock and Will Smith. Will Smith ran off to an ashram, for God's sake. Get away from his wife, get away from the press.
Did anyone ever ask Chris, did the slap actually hurt?
I don't think he's said anything about
it. He has alluded to it. He's like, I'm not going to say anything until I have 20 minutes written on it, right? But he's alluded to it here and there when that guy jumped up on Chappelle. Try to attack Dave Chappelle. Chris Rock was like, was that Will Smith? So he's made like a couple of one-offs here and there.
I just want to know the pain. But forget the embarrassment. Yeah, that's a part of it.
It was a slap. You ever been slapped in the face full on?
But Will Smith is a big dude and got big muscles.
But have you ever been slapped in the face full on?
By my mom. No one.
So you know it hurts.
In everyday life has smacked me. Wish they would.
Man, go give him
This is a story all about how my wife got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just stay the course to tell you how I became the prince of a situation called divorce.
Can we
squeeze that all in there?
If we're playing Miles stuff, can you play his Morbius song?
Oh, Morbin time?
It's Morbin time.
I don't know. Is it something I can air?
Let me check. I think it is.
I watched it once.
It's Morbius. I want Morbius. Are you sure, BS?
I don't even know what that's referring to.
It's a meme where people are trying to get
Morbius 2.
Morbin time going. Yeah.
What does that even mean?
The Jared Leto Marvel movie called Morbius, which everybody agreed. Anybody who saw it, these people saw photos of empty theaters on Instagram.
I've never even heard of that.
A lot of people haven't. But I'm not sure where Morbin time came from. But it's become a meme. It's become,
Yeah, I don't think it's going to...
Yeah, I would have to listen to it before I heard it. But remember the girl who... I think she came out in 90 Day Fiancé, the girl that was selling her jarred farts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you can only ride that train for so long when you got to come up with something new. There's going to be, diminishing returns. You're just going to turn your stomach into knots trying to fulfill all those orders. Stephanie Matto is the girl, and she was on 90 Day Fiancé, and she went viral because she said she was, selling her farts in jars, and she sold enough of them, right? Just as a goof, as a, I would imagine to be a great novelty gift.
And she had a great out. She's like, "Oh, I can't keep doing this. Made me sick." Doctor said, "No more fart selling." Doctor's orders. Can't keep doing
Doctor's orders. So
then they're limited time, makes them more valuable.
There you go.
It's great.
You don't want to devalue the fart jars. Well, with Father's Day just a couple of weeks away, she's selling her boob sweat.
At least that's tangible.
Yeah.
Like it's in a jar.
Yeah, but you know what?
The fart was in a jar.
It's not, though.
Yeah, I bet it was. If you fart into a jar and you crack that lid, now you're going to let it escape.
That's what I mean.
But that's tangible. It's gonna punch you in the face.
Mary, what do you
depending
say
on
your
what
boob
she's
sweat?
eating.
My boobs don't sweat that much. I get like back sweat.
Saw your back sweat.
People are going to know where it's coming from.
Have Brian get a little squeegee
What?
and just, tell people that that's what it is.
No, that's lying.
Comes right off. What?
I don't need
That's
to
what the
lie.
internet is. You think she was really selling farts in jars?
I don't know what she was doing.
I know a lot of you are like, wow, didn't this girl become the #1 world's most successful fart jar seller? The answer is yes. Now I have pivoted.
That's what people say when they
So
refer
many
to her.
people.
Oh my God, isn't this the #1 selling fart jar? Who was the #2 selling fart jar purveyor, do you think?
No one cares about number 2.
What a
Well,
day to
maybe
get
if they're
bumped
buying farts, they do. Now that I think about it.
That's my point. You want to be #2. That's good branding. You don't want to be #1.
over to a new market, and that is the cha-cha sweat market. Let's go on to the bad news now. I was in my yard.
Are cha-chas?
I've
Is
never
that
heard
her
of that.
euphemism? I haven't either. I thought cha-cha was your girl down below.
chocha.
Your chocha?
That's what Missy Elliott called it.
Yeah.
Shave my chocha.
Yo.
Yesterday, I was supposed to be fulfilling orders these next 2 days while it's really, really hot. A black bear came into my yard, just chilling, eating garbage. So I am basically a prisoner in my own home. I cannot be in my yard doing.
So she's going on and going, hey, guys, I lured you with the promise of boob sweat. And now I'm telling you, there's a bear outside, and I can't get sweaty enough to send these out.
Aw.
I'm so sorry. I don't even know what kind of rack
bears
she's
are ruining
got.
everything.
They really are. They don't want to work. She was making, she says, between $300 and $500 a pop. I don't think she charges by the breast. But she was averaging, she says, about $5,000 a day. Now, I don't take people at their word when they're talking about how much they make. I don't believe them when they talk about OnlyFans. I believe Behead Behavior, because she showed literally the receipts. But if you're on TikTok and you're going, I'm making $5,000 a day, guess what? You're not going to let a bear stop you from doing it. You're going to crank the heat in one of the rooms of your house. And you're going to stand in there.
Yeah, go in a sauna or something.
Yeah. Till you start cranking out that clear gold. So she's trying to sell her Tata sweat.
Whatever, dude. I'll sell my sweat. Email me.
Are you still getting emails about the feet?
They've slowed down.
Have they?
Santoratoes@gmail.com. Yeah, it's slowed down quite a bit. It was a big.
Well, we haven't mentioned it in a while.
The first few weeks were big, and then I have 3 regular guys that still hit me up. But That's it.
So you've got a steady stream of slightly passive income
Yeah.
from those guys.
Tank of gas here and there.
Hey, Johnny,
Yo, what's going on, Alan?
what's going on?
I just wanted to, a buddy of mine showed me a clip on the internet the other day. Obviously, it's the internet. Who knows if it's real? But it's Will Smith slap, I guess, and it's from an old-timey clip. And you can look it up. It's D-H-A-R, Dar-Man. I don't know if it's Man or Man.
Oh, Darman, yeah.
Darman.
He does those 15-minute long videos about
So
how
you see,
somebody gets their comeuppance at the end of each one of them.
When
Mean
you
Girl
treat
fat
people-
shames.
Yeah, so I've,
Hey, Darman
I've never
fan.
heard of it
Blah.
before. And a buddy of mine showed me a clip, and I guess they depict this exact thing. They're at the Oscars. He makes fun of the dude's wife. The guy's laughing. And then he gets up, slaps him, sits down, and says, keep my wife's name out of your mouth. So just something interesting to look up and find that it's literally the same exact scene in what he does.
Well, listen, I take most of my lifestyle cues from Darman.
Do
So
ya?
I
why
try
not?
to. I mean, those videos are some of the worst things you'll ever see. The production value is
Great.
crazy high. And the writing's terrible.
The
The
acting
acting
is
is
worse.
awful. Whoever's pumping money into these, you get this amazing looking piece of crap, but he gets a lot of hits, boy.
They did a. This is up there, but it's from 2 weeks ago, so it's not like you predicted anything. But it's
When
so
Bill
corny.
first told me about those, dude, I went down a Darman rabbit hole for probably
It's-
a week straight.
It's
They're
hard
so
not
long.
to.
They're
But
all
they're
20
they
minutes
are,
long.
But
and
that's what I would do. First thing when I'd wake up, and if I found myself with just laying on the couch, I'd end up watching 2 or 3 Darman videos, and I would want to stop, but I'm like, I gotta see it.
gotta
It's
see
so bad.
how bad it is.
I have to watch it all the way through. The one with the girl's a burn victim, and the guy's like, oh, I I would never date someone so hideous. And then the waiter like pulls his shirt down and his shoulders burn.
Yeah.
He's like, so you see, you never know.
It's so loaded.
Hiding.
You know what's coming, and you know.
Oh, it's so bad.
But I've seen some interviews that he's done, and he's like, yeah, I know they're kind of corny, but they're built that way because they're not necessarily just for native English speakers, and for like worldwide they do really well, and there's a lot of people. The
comments are crazy. People
That's something, I guess. Yeah, he's got like 16 million subscribers.
And there's like other cultures where you do shame people for the way they look, and they go, oh, I guess this is something I need to work on.
He's trying to teach international lessons.
Yeah,
he's got that global view.
Whatever. It really hurt my feelings.
Principal suspends smart student. What happens is shocking. Oh my goodness.
That was weird.
This is all one big misunderstanding.
You don't have to convince us.
I just hope she doesn't tell any teachers or the principal. I mean, the last thing you need right now is to be getting in trouble.
You've got to worry about your scholarship, Jimmy. Yeah. So he made fun of somebody and shamed them.
But then the way he talks is like, hey, Darman fam, sometimes when people are mean, it's really bad and it hurts other people's feelings.
Like he's talking to children.
Yeah, and they got a guy in here. Somebody made fun of his acne, and it's just this. It's like terrible high school production makeup of zits on his face, you know.
Please listen to me, okay?
You know what, Flint? If it were just me, I would believe you. But Gordon and Amber, I'm going to have to tell the principal.
Listen, when it comes to Flint, Gordon, and Amber all hanging out together, you can usually do no wrong. But this lady's not going to let this slide.
I'm going to have to tell the principal. I'm sorry you guys had to go through that. I am not going to let this slide, mister.
Told ya, she's not going to let that slide, mister.
I wonder if there's going to be instant karma.
Guess what, Flint? You should have considered your scholarship to, I assume, Darman University. I got a break. If you want to send a text for anything, 35192. If you want to watch, you'll find our video at alancoxshow.com. And you can listen anywhere on the iHeartRadio app.